Yeah, so as you say, social media has been such a game changer for all sports, but obviously it's the smaller sports what have benefited more. Like as you say, your own UFC, all the sports like this, what wouldn't have got the attention what they got without social media and streaming and stuff like that.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I think that now social media, I used to call it new media, and if old media was television, print, and radio, new media became the primary source of media for millennials now, Gen Zs, Gen Alphas, and we're all as executives now, at least I put the hat on as our president of the PLL, you're starting to graph viewership across the board. So it's not just in your case pay-per-views or who's watching on ESPN or ESPN Plus. It's also who's watching the post-fight analysis on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram. And the aggregate, the sum of all parts, is far greater than it used to be. And so what we see now is like social media is normalized. It's also can be crippling at times, which I know athletes can talk about and entertainers or just celebrities. And you got to be careful the way you talk about it because you athletes, entertainers, we're blessed in a lot of ways to be able to do something on center stage, something that we love. But I think it's okay to express pain and challenges that we have with it. But ultimately, I think the modern athlete is entering a much more sophisticated environment of social. So when I was first on it in 2008, I mean, I could just post that I'm going to Chipotle and everyone would retweet it because it was fascinating to find out what a pro athlete was doing, right? And
Yeah.
so there was no bar. The bar was so low, and now the bar is really high. You have to be interesting. You have to be engaged. Otherwise, like people are going to talk to you and all this stuff that makes it complicated. So I think I'm very weary. I say all of that because I know that it's not as simple as this, one page manual. You're an athlete, be on social media and post all the time. It's complicated, it's tricky, and you got to understand where you are personally in your life, understand what the purpose is for social related to your career, and it's all complicated. I'd be curious to how you think about it.
To be honest, social media has changed my life because without social media I wouldn't get the sponsors and stuff like that. But lad, the problems that I have had with social media sites, lad, you
Mm,
don't even understand. I'm on my third Instagram.
third,
Yeah.
wow.
First one got disabled on 187k. Second one
Mm.
on 920k. You know what I mean? And then now I'm on
Why'd
my
they get
third.
disabled?
Just sticking up for myself and sticking up for people that, like on my page. The last one was the worst, lad. On my page, someone said something about a child that was in like a critical condition. Someone commented something nasty about him, so I said something back, and then my account got took off me, which it really annoyed me. But as I say, Instagram, I don't mind now. I've got my Instagram back. Twitter, I've got it in for use. Twitter have disabled me Twitter now, so I haven't got
Wow.
a Twitter anymore. They don't even like say, "Oh, it's because of this" or "It's because of that." It's just boom, it's gone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's tricky. Have you tried to reach out to them or anyone on your
oh
team
yeah,
talk to
like a
them
lot
about
of people have tried to reach out, but obviously we just made the new Instagram. I think Twitter the same because I've already had a Twitter ban last year. As I say, once again, for defending myself. You know what it's like for the professional athletes. You've been called, I bet you, everything under the sun on social media. And I'm a bit of a biter. So
it? Yeah.
people say stuff to me and I'll say, "Oh, shut up, you fat divvy." Know what I mean? And
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
my tweet will get a what's it called? Like lit up. And then even anyway, where my old account got banned and my new account, I don't know how they're saying they've only just realised it's me because I made my new account last November, and the night before I fought, my account just got disabled. The night before I fought the other week, my account just got disabled, and the same because they've realised that it's me, that they can't let me have the account once you get a Twitter banned. So I'm in a mad company there, lad. I'm in the same company as Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because just the rules of engagement, so to speak, they just don't apply the
We'll talk.
same way if you're in the spotlight.
We'll
yeah.
talk
You know.
about for you because you're a fighter. When you threaten to beat somebody up, they deem you as inciting
I
violence.
don't even threaten to beat anyone up though.
But your opponent, when you threaten to beat up your opponent,
Oh
they,
yeah, they've done that to me before. Yeah, when I've like said, "Oh, I'm gonna punch your head into my
Right.
opponent."
Well, isn't that it maybe is the parallel? I've heard this. I don't know that it's true, but I've said it before. if you're a UFC fighter, I'd assume it's the same. But I remember if you're licensed by the state fighting governing bodies in boxing, formerly, and you're
Yeah,
in
your
and you get
hands are
caught in a
lethal
street fight,
weapons.
your hands are a weapon, yeah, and you have to warn the person up to 3 times, otherwise you could be challenged in court for using a weapon in a fight. Is that accurate? And then maybe is
It's
that sort of the same across social?
I don't as far as I'm aware, definitely not in the UK for a fighter, but it may be that in the US. I'm not clued up on the US laws, to be honest, so I couldn't really tell you.
Wrong person to bump into, I
Yeah.
suppose.
But let's get back to your sport, lad. You're known as like one of the goats, know what I mean, of lacrosse. So what's it like to be called? It's like in such a great word.
Oh man, I don't know. I've never gotten comfortable with it,
Yeah, I don't know.
and
I know what you mean there. It would be uncomfortable to say it about yourself. I think that's why I think
yeah,
it's a bit mad when LeBron just goes, "Yeah, I'm the goat." I think
yeah, it's strange. I mean,
rubs
there's
people up
part
the
of me
wrong
is like,
way.
there's just weird balance, right? As athletes at the highest level, and you can relate, is the only reason we get here is we have that doggedness about us that we're going to do whatever it takes to be the greatest. And it's not just, and a lot of athletes have trouble talking about it because you are putting yourself out there if you go out and say, I want to be the greatest ever. Like, who says that?
Yeah,
Muhammad Ali? And like, what I mean? But like, who do you think you are to do that? But the odds of reaching that are so low, you actually have to have that level of dedication and venom to that committed task. Will you get there? I don't know. And especially with team sports leagues, they're different than your sport where it's subjective. Who's the best? I mean, we have the age old debate around, is it more championships? Is it more MVPs? Is it longevity? And that's what makes sports exciting. But so you have to have that in your reserve. And then the other side of your fuel tank is this imposter syndrome. I find that like fear drives the greatest athletes ever. You have just this perpetual fear of losing, of someone else catching up to you, of you not being good enough. And it's pretty sick, to be honest, because like I'll enter every session just going, I'm worth nothing. I can suck, and my last game was horrible, and everyone thinks I'm trash. And that's what drives me. That's like my fuel. And then the other side of it is, so you have there's like this humility, there's this reverse ego that's talking. But if I weren't in the GOAT conversation, I'd be like, man, what game are they watching? So it's just it's a complicated thing. It makes it difficult to to talk through.